Welcome to episode number 5 of Screen Printing Marketing. I am Sean Michael Lewis, and today we're going to talk about learning about your brands. And when I say that, I'm basically referring to, as a screen printing shop, screen printing organization, there's a lot of options when it comes to textiles and t-shirts and hoodies and things like that. And we're, being in this whole COVID-19 time and not being able to go to the industry events like ASI and ISS and things like that, it's very important because, that's one thing. When you go to all these big trade shows and events, you get to meet vendors, you get to meet founders, you get to meet people and learn about brands and what they have to offer. But I feel like, a lot of times everything kind of comes down to, oh, do you want a cotton dual blend, tri-blend shirt? Do you want polyester? Do you want nylon? Do you want this? Do you want that? But when you really learn about the brands that you work with, what they stand for, how they're manufactured, what is there a story behind that? It really opens up more storytelling and conversation with your clients, because when you can be, especially if you're a shop and you can get passionate about 1, 2, 3, or 4 brands, it's not just like, oh, here's the entire inventory of everything that's out there. You can actually focus in and say, wow, we really like this garment because this is what they're about. This is what they stand for. A perfect example is a t-shirt company called All Made. They do masks, they do shirts, they do long sleeve shirts. They have an incredible story about these programs they've set up from where the cotton is grown in the States and then taken to places like Haiti where it's actually manufactured, and they're creating jobs in very poverty-driven type countries. And that story is just amazing. It's just a feel-good story because they're creating jobs, they're paying higher wages in countries where those opportunities don't exist. And they feel good. They just have a great impact and a great message. They print well and things like that. But, a lot of times a shirt like that might cost a little bit more, but that story captures somebody that cares about, social injustice and social causes and things like that. They're like, yeah, we want to print on that because that's what we believe in too. And it's just amazing, like just looking at the standards of all the different companies from Next Level to Bella Canvas, like what are their standards? A lot of t-shirts are manufactured outside of the United States. We've seen in the past that some brands have taken advantage of child labor and unsafe practices that put children, women, and even men in harm's way. It's very important to understand like the brands that you represent, because when that comes out, let's just say you're working with your local city, you sell a 2,500 shirt for an event, and you're working with brand XYZ, and then 6 months later, brand XYZ is accused of this because they're manufacturing in China, and then it just kind of falls back on a negative taste. Like, why did that company recommend that brand to me? Why did they do that? Now, it could happen with an incredible brand, or somebody could get sold and things like that. We've seen that happen in the past when you look at companies, certain companies, which I'm not going to mention, but, I think it's very important to understand, like, I love when it comes to Next Level, they're manufactured majority in Nicaragua. We actually have a charity in Nicaragua that we spend down there with helping kids go to school called Hand Up Charity. And I think it's really interesting, like, their standards are different than in America, so it's not going to be a match for match. But it's just like they try to uphold the maximum amount of standard in that country that country allows. So, something they might be doing might not be okay here in the US, but like you just ask those questions, but like, what's the quality look like? And, I know for a fact that people in Nicaragua work extremely hard. They're extremely diligent workers. And I've been very happy with Next Level as a brand. We've gotten great consistency and quality from them in the past. So, these are just things that you can capitalize on to tell the story about the brand that gets a lot further beyond, oh yeah, it's 100% cotton. It's really soft. It's this, it's that, it's whatever. How do you capitalize on that to give your products and your services more of life and breath inside of them? And I'm telling you, it's amazing. People love to talk about these things. You start asking questions like, well, what brands are you familiar with? And a lot of times people don't really know. I mean, some people are like, yep, I want Bella Canvas, I want Nike, I want whatever. And that's great. You can meet those needs. But if it's somebody that doesn't know what they want, there could be opportunities for upselling. There could be opportunities for just building more of a relationship because they feel like they're more part of what you represent. So knowing your brands, I know it's extremely difficult right now with the whole COVID shutdown. We're not having a lot of industry trade shows, but what's really important is the internet allows you to engage and converse with people that represent these companies. And a lot of that information is on every major manufacturer's website now, especially since the standards have been brought up where people were more aware of that over the last several years. So do your research, make sure you look into it, because it can make a big difference just being educated. And then, and this is a huge principle, as in screen printing marketing and as a business owner myself, you have to be an education type company in this industry. If you're not doing that, you're just doing basic sales. But when you educate like why things cost a certain amount, why things do that, you do video like we've talked about on a previous episode, you can show the work behind what you do. A lot of people don't think a t-shirt just magically gets ink on it and there it is. There's a whole process. Like, how are you communicating that? How are you documenting that? How are you sharing that with people out there? So anyway, just some things to think about. Know your brands, know the inside and out of that, share some story, and I can promise you it will do wonders for your business. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'll talk to you guys soon.